I know that some of these high-level athletes too, like Tom Brady, even Mark Wahlberg, they have a structure where they go to bed like at 7:30 and they're waking up at like between 2 and 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
They have really adjusted their lifestyle and the cadence of their rhythm to be more optimized.
What's up, bro?
What's up, baby? Living full field.
Full field back.
We back at you right now. I'm excited today, man. I'm excited. I'm always excited.
So I'm excited.
Yo, we're going to be talking about sleep today, but
Yeah.
first and foremost, I want to talk to you about something. Dude, this Michigan sign stealing scandal.
Tell me about it. I didn't even hear about this.
This is wild. You haven't heard about it. Do you watch it? Do you watch football at all?
I do. I just don't, dude. I don't have a TV with cable, so like I don't. If it's on at someone else's place, I'll watch it, but I don't.
I don't either. I don't watch it that much about Michigan football, but it's been interesting because it's taken over kind of like the forefront of college sports, I would say in general, but college
they're
football.
huge, right? Like,
Yeah, they're number 3 in the nation. They're
Yeah.
coming out playing Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah.
I just like Michigan, so like Michigan, Ohio State coming up Thanksgiving, it
Big
just
game.
like has that like
There's
feeling,
a little, like,
right?
angst to it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, somebody needs to die.
So it's good, but dude, it's pretty wild, like how they're this whole thing has become because they're stealing signs because they sent a guy to the stadium. I don't know, did the guy go on his own volition and want to get ahead of the game? But apparently in 1994, the NCAA said, hey, you cannot send scouts ahead of time into opposing stadiums to scout games, right?
Right.
I don't know if they do that in lacrosse, like if that's a thing, but like scouting is a thing. It's been a thing for like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So like in 1994, not to plan ahead, which is weird. I didn't even know if it existed. So
Yeah.
anyways, Michigan over the past couple of years has sent a guy into the stadium, has like recorded, and they're looking at signs, obviously from the coach to the quarterback and the coach to the defensive as far as what schemes they're doing.
Yeah.
So they decoded these signs over the last couple of years. They like essentially decoded them. And
That's probably not easy, right? That takes like some.
That's what I'm saying.
Like deciphering, and it's like
I don't
reading a language that you don't know. Yeah.
But I also like kind of respect it because isn't that the point? Like you also
It's an edge, I guess,
before like you play them in that game or whatever, you're sending guys to the stadium, you're watching it, right? The point is like, all right, I'm going to get video analysis. So it's either on a video because I'm watching the game and I'm zooming in, I'm doing my homework, or I'm having a guy do it there. Like, what's the difference? Like, I don't get it. So like everyone's trying to decode. What are they trying to say? Like, obviously they came up with a formula that was pretty darn good to like decode.
Yeah.
It's not like they won a national championship or anything, but they've obviously done good against Ohio State and a number of other teams over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get why the NCAA is like pretty wild.
I bet so many other people are doing that. They just got caught. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's
exactly.
like everyone's probably doing it. Like
100%,
you gotta
man.
get every little edge you can in this like high level. You know how much money those games are worth.
Oh,
you know, it's
insane.
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest money makers in this country. So for you to be able to like get that little edge, like they're
of course, everyone's going to take the edge, and I think that's why a lot of like Nick Saban, a lot of these other coaches aren't really coming out and saying, "Oh, like I'm gonna." It's like no, take away the rule.
They don't want to get any light shed on them, you know.
Yeah.
It's
So what Nick Saban said, he's like, if you want to NCAA, if you want to correct this, like let our quarterbacks and let a linebacker be able to like have a microphone in their helmet, so we can just call in the signs. Yeah. So there's no like holding up pictures.
That's what the NFL does, right?
The NFL does that, yeah. So you can't decode.
Just do it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't done that already.
Ridiculous.
That's like, holding out the pictures and
weird. Do you run plays in lacrosse?
Yeah, there's plays. Yeah, you have like set like offenses, like schemes. You know.
Yeah.
It's different because it's like it's like basketball, right?
Yeah,
Like certain situations are going to deem like, hey, this guy should probably push down that side of the field. Everyone's going to move off ball, kind of thing.
Right.
But it's not set like football. It's like we're set, ready, everything's stopped, and then you're running a play.
Right.
It's different. It's more transition. There's a lot of transition play, like fast breaks and stuff. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lacrosse is so similar to basketball. And I grew up playing basketball before I played lacrosse, so that's why I
really?
picked it up pretty quick.
I think it's ridiculous. So, anyways, the NCAA came down and they they said basically the head coach is suspended for the rest of the season.
That's Harbaugh.
So Jim Hardbaugh, which like that dude knows how to market himself.
Hardball with the D in there?
Hardbaugh, I think so. Is it Hardbaugh or Hardbaugh?
I'm pretty sure it's Harbaugh, but I like Harbaugh.
I think it's Hardbaugh. I think it's like
tough.
Maybe it's Harbaugh.
Coach Hardbaugh.
Harbaugh, no D in there.
I love that.
Anyways, he's probably not getting much
guy's
sleep.
nuts, though.
He's not getting much sleep right now.
No, he's losing his mind.
Yeah, he's probably losing his mind.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't actually know if he's losing his mind, but he's probably not getting much sleep. They're trying to. They went to the court systems and are basically trying to get him back for the Ohio State game. They play Maryland this weekend. Play Ohio State over Thanksgiving Day weekend or Thanksgiving weekend. So
that'd be big without him, right?
I feel like, they feel like they definitely want him back, but maybe it gives them a little extra vengeance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These players just coming in. They beat Penn State last week, so it's fun. But yeah, he's probably not getting a ton of sleep. So let's just start talking about Harbaugh sleep.
Yeah, and what kind of sleep person is he? Right? What's his?
He's definitely a
his
bear.
Schedule.
He's definitely a bear.
That's what we're talking about today, and we kind of touched on this in the last episode a little bit. We're gonna kind of break down some of these chronotypes. Yeah. I think this is pretty cool because this is like...
Where's the quiz? You had it. I took the quiz. You send that to me.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably different websites.
We'll throw that. We'll throw that in the show notes.
Chronotype quiz. Just
Chronotype quiz. Just Google that.
Yeah, and so essentially, you're going to get one of these 4 types, right? And this is based on science, based on research that these sleep doctors have done. But essentially, like everyone has like a predetermined genetic kind of circadian rhythm that works best for them, right? Mm-hmm. Like personally, I can wake up at 5 a.m. and go work out and do that, but I don't feel the best in that. Like I don't get the best workout. If I can sleep until like 6:30 and then work out more like midday, I get a better workout. I'm more energized for that. I can do my mental tasks in the morning, right? And so that's more like along the lines of like the bear chronotype. So I say we just break these down one at a time. That way, like listeners, you guys can hear each of these and kind of see where you fit, and kind of everyone knows kind of how they feel during times of the day, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, your work schedule is going to determine some stuff, right? Some
hormone levels.
Yeah, but ultimately, like you can try to do the best to fit to what your body wants. Yeah. Right? Then you're not fighting it all the time and stressing about that. So
that's so important. And understanding what your body type, like, I mean, we all have genetic makeups that make us who we are.
Yeah.
And if you can give yourself like, dude, relax. I am kind of like this prototype. I don't love the idea of boxing like yourself, but at the end of the day, if you can really understand how the cadence at which you move throughout a day,
right.
Understanding your circadian rhythm in association with your ultradian rhythms, like it does, like, give yourself a breather, bro.
Yeah. And that's not to say that everyone is 100% one of these. You could probably be like a hybrid of 2, or like somewhere in the middle. And you can train yourself to probably be one more than the other as well, I'm sure, over time. You get up pretty early in the morning, right? Like you start
really 4:45.
Yeah. And you've gotten used to it at this point, right?
Yeah, but I also go to bed really early. Like, I mean, I'm going to bed between like 8:30 and 9:30 every night. Like, so if somebody else is not that way, right, is going to bed at 11 o'clock. But, I mean, I also wouldn't go to bed at 11 o'clock and try to wake up at still 5:30, 6 o'clock, right?
Right.
You need that operation. I guess that depends on what you're getting in terms of REM sleep during that time period.
Yeah, that's a big factor too. Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of what these chronotypes are is helping you to be able to optimize your sleep, right? Because like if you're like, man, I got to go to bed early, but you just lay in bed for 3 hours, toss and turn in, like maybe those are 3 hours that you could have been productive and then slept in a little bit later, right?
Yeah.
So again, depending on if your work schedule allows for that, but let's just break it down, bro, one at a time. So like the first one, and I don't know who came up with the animals for this, but it's funny.
But it gives us an association.
Yeah,
it definitely is.
Cool.
It almost like creates the story right off the bat.
Yeah. Like the first one is dolphins, right? Dolphins are light sleepers. People who are often maybe like diagnosed with insomnia. They're up and down throughout the night. Maybe like their mind doesn't shut off, right? Mm-hmm. So what is it? Basically, it's better for these people to wake up around like 6:30, and these times are kind of rough estimates, right? It doesn't have to be 6:30, 6:15, okay, whatever. But like these are just like options, right? And then they do most of their like brainstorming and work project stuff like mid morning, like 9 to 10 a.m. But like before that, they should eat some breakfast, kind of slowly get into the day because they probably had like maybe some restless sleep, right? And then it says like eat lunch around noon, and then they should kind of like split their day up, right? So do like your mentally demanding tasks mid-morning, and then also some more in the afternoon, and then probably doing like some kind of like exercise like later in the day, maybe like 5-6 o'clock. And then these people usually go to bed like later, right? They can get away with that. Like I think I touched on it. My mom has always been like that. She's always like gone to bed real late and then got up real early. And I was like, I don't know how she does that, but maybe she's just a dolphin, Yeah. And I'd be interested for her to take this quiz. Mom, if you're listening, take this quiz.
Take the quiz. Take the quiz.
Yeah. And we both took it. We both got bear. And I was thinking you'd be more like a lion just because you do wake up early, but I think you've just kind of trained your body in that
100%.
Right?
I've trained my body. Yeah, I think naturally I would. Because, I mean, there's certain times, like on the weekend, I'll shut off my alarm and let my body just, like, operate without an alarm.
Yeah.
And I'm waking up at, like, 6:30, 7 o'clock. So that's one thing I want to temperature check, too, as far as, like, that level of REM, because I was getting really quality when I was measuring it, but I haven't measured it in about a year. Where my REM cycle was at. So it's good to just understand, like, if the cadence, like, these are seasonality things too, where the cadence of my sleep has changed over time. Because I mean, they can change, right? So like really get an understanding of that, and I think they can be also influenced by your diet. By certain things too.
Yeah. If you're doing stimulants like later in the afternoon, like coffee and stuff like that, that's going to affect your ability to sleep. Like we talked about that already. In depth. But yeah, so like I kind of the reason I looked into this, man, was because I was kind of the one I was fighting it. Like I was trying to get up at 5 a.m., hit my workout before I went to the office, and then it was that struggle where it's like now I got to eat food, because I'm hungry after I work out. And then I'm kind of. I got to be focused and I got to be there for my patients in that mid-morning shift that I have. And then like by like 2, I was like tired. And I was like, damn, like I'm kind of drained at 2 o'clock. Like, so now I push my workout to lunch, right? And I work out on my lunch break. I wake up at 6, some days 6:30. I've honestly, like I set an alarm to be safe, but I've just been waking up at 6. Like just my internal clock is doing it.
Just doing it.
And then, I fast through the morning. I hit like a pouch or something right before work out at like noon. And then have a nice, protein packed meal after that. Then I go treat patients the rest of the afternoon. And then my evening's more chill. Like my evenings, I'm like eating dinner, reading, kind of just like decompressing for the rest of the day. Yeah. And that does better for me, probably in bed by like 10:30. So, and I've noticed that just feels like natural, feels right, feels natural. Like I'm not fighting it,
Yeah.
I'm tired when I'm tired and I'm awake when I'm awake.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I think, the cadence of my day is like just a ton of meetings. What I'm trying to do is actually push out lunch a little bit because lunch has just naturally slowed me down. But I like the idea of incorporating some physical activity. Do you do that every day of the week? Like you work out 5 days a week, or like during weekdays when other people are working?
I'm on lifting 3 days a week. The other days I do like some kind of walking or movement kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Some kind of functional movement.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I did that because you had mentioned something. I was like, you know what, I want to try it. And I just had a moment yesterday where I just went to the gym. And I went like around, I think it was like around noon, roughly. Yeah. And it was good, man. I'm not going to lie. I feel like I had a lot of energy.
I smashed it at noon. Yeah.
I probably could do that in the evening, but there's like, it was impossible. I used to do this like in my early 20s where I would go to the gym at like 6, 7 o'clock at night. But dude, I would be up, like my heart rate, I definitely turned into a dolphin.
Yeah.
Because I was working out so late at night that then when I wanted to go to bed, I couldn't because it was just like I had too much blood running through me.
And that kind of speaks towards the whole purpose of this is that like you were fighting your kind of natural body's rhythm, right? Like that wasn't like best for you. Some people can handle that and it's probably okay. I'm the same way. If I work out after 6, dude, like I'm not like even tired till like 11.
Yeah.
And then that's going to throw the whole next day off. The only tough part, I think the reason a lot of people work out so early is because it's like then it's done and nothing's going to mess that up.
If you want to hear your question answered live on the show, submit it to ask@fullfuel.com. Check out the Optimizers program where we build max muscle, improve longevity, and get guys freaking shredded so that they can crush it at life for as long as possible.
Live full fueled. Live beyond limits, baby.
Dude, that's why I do it. That's why I like in the morning. When it's done, it's
days
done.
get derailed, bro. Like I had a meeting that was supposed to be an hour, went 2 hours. Then I'm like rushing to the gym, and I'm like, this kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I still got it
exactly.
in, but like, yeah, like there's less things that can derail your day if you just do it right away. So, like,
100%.
I get that, and that's probably better than not doing it.
Yeah.
But if you can, doing it to the best of what your fit is. So I think we were talking about just now, like lions are the people that wake up early and they just have energy right away. Like they're not like having to like snooze or scrape themselves out of bed. Like they're like up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I used to be like that.
I am
but I've
like
like
that.
shifted away from that. Yeah, you're probably like somewhere in between like lion and
Yeah,
bear.
lion
honestly.
and bear.
Yeah,
Yeah, I am, dude.
You're like a
Once I get up,
crazy hybrid animal.
it's almost I would say give me like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know also if it's from the plunge though too. I got to think back.
You hit that right away. Like that's you.
Oh, darn near, man.
Yeah.
Like I'll go out there, I'll just friggin' butt naked, hopping in there. Also, but dude, I almost pinched a loaf. Did I tell you? If I friggin' tell.
In the tub, dude? Oh man.
Dude, man, it was like a shocker to the body. I ate something big the night before,
Yeah.
dude. I would like, had
Yeah.
to hop out of there.
That would have been
And
deep
run
clean, bro. Oh man.
Oh man, it was horrible, dude.
Anyone who has-
Freaking that black snake was playing some serious peekaboo.
Anyone who has kids knows that that's not a good thing, dude.
That is not a
My
good
kids
thing.
pooped in the tub a couple times when they were little, and it was just like the worst, dude. The cleanup,
Dude, it's so
It
nasty.
sucks. It's so
It
nasty.
sucks. Pooping in the tub, man.
Ugh.
Anyways,
Don't
the
wanna
cold
ever-
plunge tub.
ever
Yeah, it
do
was
that.
wild. You'd think your body would lock everything in, but
Yeah.
man, it was ready to go. So I
Ready.
hopped out.
You're ready when you're
Friggin-
ready. Yeah, good. At least you
ran
got out.
inside. Probably woke up Kelly, but
Should have been
they're
like,
getting
what?
squealing across those floors. It was
But
horrible.
getting back on it, so the lions wake up with energy. It's probably better for them to wake up and eat some breakfast, kind of get those mentally demanding tasks done right then when they have that energy.
Yeah.
Right? The things that you need to get done, your emails, your meetings, like whatever that is, planning, any kind of planning stuff. Having lunch midday, and then they do better with exercise later in the day, like 5-6 p.m. And
Oh, lions do?
yeah, and that's
Oh,
where I
yeah.
think again, this isn't
what those
like
meant.
dogmatically strict. Like this is it. Like there's
Yeah.
some flexibility, and I think people being in between too. But I think it's really all about her of like knowing like what feels right for you. Right?
Yeah.
So like not enough people are aware of that. But luckily, I was able to kind of pinpoint that for myself.
Thinking back though, so I'm evaluating the lion now. Because if I truly am honest with myself, I guarantee you I'd probably, just because of the course of my life, I have kids. I can't work out in the evening.
Yeah,
Like it's impossible,
It's
right?
dinner time. That's important.
But it's super important. So I have to work out in the morning. But the reality is that I could,
Yeah.
like I did for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So I might, for the past like 10 years, I've been working out like first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
But I probably am working against my body's,
Maybe. Yeah.
chronotype might be because of just the normal
Yeah.
rhythm that I have in my life. Like I got to be there for my kids at night, so I have to do it in the morning, right before
Yeah.
they wake up. That was just one as like a non-negotiable. So I'm curious. Then that's why it's so important to measure where you at in your REM, right?
Right.
Getting the Aura ring or getting getting a band or anything
Even
like that.
Fitbits, I think, have decent sleep tracking, or the
Yeah.
Apple Watch now, like they're okay. It's
I
like-
wouldn't do it like 100% of the night, but if you did it for a period of like just maybe like 2 months to get
Yeah.
aggregate data,
Yeah.
to pull back, because I'm not also big on wearing something like a wearable
Yeah,
and
it's
having that pulse like just generating through like measurables. But like
Yeah.
if you do it in stints over a period of time, just to be like, hey, I want to set a baseline in this tracker.
Yeah.
I think it's really healthy. But anyways,
Yeah.
lion, I bet you I am a lion,
Yeah.
like top
I
down.
assumed, I like figured you were. Just,
Yeah.
like, based on knowing your how you are and stuff. But yeah, like I think this quiz could be done two ways. You
Yeah.
could take the quiz with the like, if I didn't have work, if I didn't have a lifestyle or like these demands of life, what would I be?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can also take it in a way of like, how does my life allow me to be? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think your life is less allowable for you to be the lion than it is for you to be like maybe more like a bear.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I know that some of these high-level athletes too, like Tom Brady, even Mark Wahlberg, they have a structure where I think they go to bed like at 7:30, and they're waking up at like between 2 and 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they have really like adjusted their lifestyle and the cadence of their rhythm to be more optimized.
Yeah.
I would love. I mean, my kids don't go to bed. I go to roughly around like within a half hour to 45-minute time frame of when my kids go to bed.
Yeah.
Kelly and I talk, but I love that optimization. If my wife wouldn't have cared about it of doing that, because I feel like I would destroy the mornings
That
where
early,
I would get
3
like
a.m.
2:30, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Where you're just like then working, and then you get like a workout in between like 6 to 7.
Yeah.
That would be money.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, if you can then crash at like 8 or even like 7, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I think those guys are super outliers, obviously. Like,
Yeah.
they have the flexibility that their job probably demands them to be that, right? Like Tom
Yeah.
Brady's like training and stuff. So he probably, I think a lot of those big, really high level athletes sleep a ton, dude. These guys are sleeping like 10 hours a night because that physical
JJ Watt does. I know JJ
that
Watt.
physical
freaking
regeneration
monster.
that they need, or that recovery, is so demanding, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I lift 3 days a week,
Yeah.
but like compared to like they lift, train, do all these like very intensive exercises to keep their bodies so
And let
peak
alone,
physical.
this is why I respect football, even though I'm like not the biggest football fan, from the purposes of like what it does, the damaging effects to the brain.
Yeah,
but
true. Yeah,
from just the amount of battle you have to go into from just body composition to be that big, right? To like just take for instance JJ Watt. I know he has the same. When he was playing, he had the same type of regiments, like where he'd sleep like almost 12 hours. Like I think it was like 7 to 7 that he trained his body to sleep. But then the impact, like the violence that was associated with that, where you weren't healthy after game one.
right. Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're not like truly, you aren't going to be healthy.
yeah.
Like your body's going to be battered. You know, for
By the end of the season,
60
these dudes are just worn,
Done.
dude. Yeah.
just done.
I would go into lacrosse season like, you lift all through the off season, get strong, train power and all that. Like I would go in like 185. Like I had just been lifting all summer, and then I'd go into lacrosse season. Then you start conditioning, dude.
Yeah.
And then you're practicing every single day, and you're still training, but like the volume has changed, so it's more like explosive stuff. I'd come out at the end of the season like 160. Like I would lose like 25 pounds, bro, just from like that like demand on my body. Obviously, so many more calories being burned in those games and practices, but like just like yeah, bro, like my body's like forced to recover and use everything it has.
Yeah.
And that was just college lacrosse. This is like professional football. Like these guys, 16 weeks is a lot. That's like, it's crazy, honestly.
But to your point, the highest level guys, I mean, I just named a few right then and there. The highest level guys have understood how sleep is going to set them apart.
Right.
Like sleep's a big component
Pivotal,
of
bro.
setting them apart
Pivotal.
from everybody else in the league.
Yeah.
From a recovery standpoint, I mean, JJ Watt was next level good.
Yeah.
And obviously Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Right.
So like understanding how sleep is the narrative to like put yourself in that 1 percentile.
Yeah, like you're not going to make it if you're not getting optimal sleep. Like it's just everything's going to fall apart at that level, right? Even at a basic level, man. Like people need sleep.
Yeah, for sure. Take us through the bear.
Yeah, so the bear, these are the people that wake up around 7 a.m., probably should do some type of light movement, whether that's going for a walk or stretching or something like that. Have some breakfast, plan the day, and it's more of a slower morning. It's not like we're crushing tasks right now. It's like, let's get the day kind of going. And then around noon is when they're optimally doing more physical or mentally demanding things like sending emails, having meetings, that kind of stuff. And then, probably should throughout the day just be moving, right? Think about like a bear in nature. I think that's why it's called this. They're always like just roaming, moving around. Maybe then they lay down, then they move again. Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
like
interesting.
taking a walk around lunch. Taking a walk around lunch, and then doing some more work, and then exercising later in the day, 6 to 7. That's more of your strenuous exercise, and then eating dinner, and then it's like sleep around like 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's kind of where I'm at. Like if I wake up and I like to go for a walk, like I live on the water, so I'll take a little
Nature
little
walks.
stroll
You
around
like
the
going
walk.
on nature walks?
Love nature walks. You know?
Nature. That's pretty neat. You ever see
That's
that YouTube
neat.
video?
I thought you were just saying it weird, but that's the thing. Okay. No, I have
That's
not
the
seen
thing.
that video. We'll put that in the notes for people.
That's an aspen tree. You can tell because of the way it is. As always, this episode is brought to you by Nutritious, convenient optimized superfood nutrition powered by nootropics, designed to elevate your physical and mental performance no matter what life throws at you. Nutritious has been proven to improve cognition, boost memory, and speed up mental and physical processing. Alfie, tell everyone where they can get it.
Yep, head on over to newtup.com to experience these benefits for yourself and live beyond limits today.
That's nature. But yeah, getting up, moving.
I put my thing in the thing. Like, we need to pull that up, man. We need to pull the Nature Walk YouTube episode in this. Oh man, you gotta watch
We'll do
that.
it. Yeah, we gotta watch that.
All right.
And then the fourth one, man, these are wolves, and wolves they have a hard time waking up early, and they're more energetic in the evening. They're more like your night owl type of person.
I gotcha.
Right.
Uh-huh.
So it's funny that the like little key points that they have on these quizzes. It's like, wake up with 2 alarms. It's like, these are the people that are like, I don't want to get out of bed. Like, they need to like snooze the alarm a few times, but
Yeah.
they're more optimal in the evening, in the later part of the day. So like, again, similar to a bear, in like a slower start, eating breakfast, maybe doing some light exercise outdoors, planning the day, and then they do their most mentally demanding stuff after lunch. So it's like afternoons are like where they just excel, do their work, do whatever it is, and then you're exercising in the evening, 7 p.m. Dinner's maybe like later, like 8 p.m.
Okay.
And then I love how all of this is like turn off screens. Like, I love that. Turn off the screens and shut your day down. But then they're going to sleep maybe like midnight, right?
Wow.
So midnight to about 7:38, still getting like 7.5, 8 hours of sleep. It's just a different schedule. But I can't stay up that late, dude. Like,
Dude,
I'm only
I cannot.
32, but I'm like, I sound like a grandpa. I'm like, I don't want to stay up past 10, bro. I'm like,
Yeah, bro. I ain't
just
Yeah, I'm not about that either. I'm not about
Yeah.
that life.
when the sun goes down, it's like my body, my circadian rhythm knows. I mean, it should know that's sleep time, right? Like,
Yeah.
the sun's out, lights are out. Obviously, humans developed light bulbs, so we've kind of found a way to like hack, like, being able to stay up later.
Yeah.
Like, before light bulbs, it was like in candles and stuff. You just were, it was like dark. You were like, shit, I guess it's bedtime.
Bedtime.
Like, there's-
Yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah, I think
anything.
that's
Like, you
It's
know,
important to recognize, though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality of like how technology moves. Is that how we're impacting with other modalities and sources
Right.
that are impacting our sleep? Where, like, obviously, Neanderthals. Like, I mean, it's dark out.
Yeah.
It's nighttime.
Technology is
Like, we go to our
fantastic
cave.
and amazing, but like, it doesn't always serve the human physical body, right?
Yeah.
Like, it'll serve like your goals and shit. If you could stay up all night with lights and work, and like
Amazing.
maybe your like career goals, that's helpful. But like,
Yeah.
it's that impacting your physiological, nature.
Yeah, let me ask you a question though, and I think I tapped on this a little earlier. Like, how much are these trained over the course, like through discourse of life, right? So, things that are imposed,
Yeah.
from a nutritional standpoint, somebody might turn into a dolphin, can't sleep at all. Some because they're dealing with so many anxiety, like stressing points,
Yeah.
that cause them to go into this like
Right.
fight or flight mode all the time,
Yeah.
even when they're sleeping. Like,
Yeah.
they're worrying about everything, and so which will probably tap in to predispositions and epigenetic, post-genetic type environments from
Love
like
that, yeah.
how you're grabbing that from
Yeah.
how you were raised, on how like you're so tightly wound up
Yeah.
versus somebody that's just like, I can let it go.
Yeah.
I think for me, a big faith component comes into that. Even coming off, I was raised, so I'm living in a post-genetic world now with a big faith component that I feel like allows me to sleep a little bit easier. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I go down, I'm like,
You're feeling good.
everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, if you have that
whether
faith, yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
That, like, the driver of hope behind that.
Why am I worrying? Yeah.
Yeah, why is there where I like literally can't worry about tomorrow because like all I have is now, so I want to like be so intentional about my sleep. But
like
again, that element of like trained. Like we're
Right.
almost trained. We trained it. Whether our subconscious trained us to be like a dolphin, right?
Yeah.
Our subconscious trained us to be like a lion.
I think this fits in. So my take on genetics and like epigenetics is that like we have genes. Everyone has the same genes. The human genome was mapped, and then we all have these like SNPs, SMP, single nucleotide polymorphisms, right? In some way, where like a certain gene maybe has like this less activity or more activity, or it doesn't work, right? Or it's mutated, and so we all have that kind of genetic predisposition for stuff. But man, your environment, in my opinion, is so much more important,
Dude.
and there's studies, right, that have shown, like, I have identical twin boys, so this just was like fascinating to me. Two identical twins, right? They're the same genetic makeup. They came from the same, DNA.
Yeah.
Can have vastly different like body types and physiology based on what they put in their body, right?
Yeah.
One eats crap all day long, the other one eats great. Like, they're gonna look totally different. They're gonna probably
Completely.
perform totally different.
Yep.
Their genes will change over time, right? Like, it just, your body is always kind of remapping. So I think this is a lot like that too, right? Like, I don't think you're born like a bear or a lion. I think maybe you have some input from your family, how they are, right? Like, if your whole family goes to bed at 10, you're probably going to go to bed at 10.
Yeah,
if your whole
right.
family's night owls with the TV on all night till 12, you're probably going to be that,
Yeah.
right? And so, like, over time as you grow, you probably develop that. But I don't think that means you can't change either.
100%, man.
Like,
And that's ultimately what I think it was like coming back to was like, even though you're boxed in that and you're like, man, I don't know if I like that.
right.
And I want to change. Well, there are measures that you
Change
can
it.
change. It might be like nutrition. It might be your screen time of when you end it, and actually when you're introducing your body to sleep. Something that we talked about of like, hey, you're introducing, like you're saying, hey, I'm gonna alienate and shut everything else off. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be present with myself. Maybe even communication with like a loved one or a spouse or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
To then say, hey, like I'm prepping my body for sleep. Like
Yeah.
you're being respectful to sleep.
Yeah. And you can hack it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
even if you have these genetic dispositions, you can hack your way out of those too.
Yeah.
With the darkness, the temperature, all the stuff we talked about.
Yeah.
Different lights, like avoiding blue lights at night, which is just everyone should do anyway. But yeah, again, I don't think the chronotypes like are 100% determined for you, but you can try to figure out what fits best for you, what fits best for your lifestyle,
Yeah,
and then
right.
kind of work with that, you know?
And then it sets the baseline. It's just like your blood work
That's right.
sets understanding of what your sleep cycle is like
Yeah.
and why it's that way.
Yeah.
And then really backing into that to what's your goal, what's achievable.
Yeah, I love
in
that.
a
I love
period
that you
of
brought
time.
that up, because that's like what we talk about with like our optimizers program too. Is like, you have to have a baseline.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to know. If you don't know where you're at, like,
You don't know where
you
you're
don't know
going.
where you're going. That's
Yeah.
I love that. So it's like what gets measured will get managed, right? If you have a baseline, then you say, hey, this needs work. How do I do that now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
No
data,
guess-
data,
take the
data.
guesswork out, right?
100%.
Yeah, numbers don't lie.
Blood work is always easy. That's really easy.
Yeah.
I think managing in terms of like taking a quiz like this, which again we'll put in the show notes, but doing a quiz to set a baseline there,
Yeah.
and then utilizing something like an Aura Ring or a Whoop Band or
Right.
something like that.
Right.
And I wouldn't do that long term though. That would be a measurable that I would kind of like maybe once or twice a year. I would use a month or 2 months, and then I would get that measurable, but then I wouldn't use it because I set the baseline, and then I would come back to it in a couple months later, right?
Yeah.
I think that having something attached to you all the time is not also respecting sleep.
Yeah.
So I would, and that constantly wants to aggregate data. So I think the two most important things, I think, are, obviously the blood work and then taking the quiz and then understanding the measurables associated to that.
Yeah.
But then optimizing in another way of really, all right, how am I getting, like, where, when I do go to bed consistently every night? Because I think that's a big thing. Some people don't even have the structure of, okay, I am a bear,
Yeah.
but I'm not even going to bed like consistently every night at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
And that predetermined like nature of like going to the bed the same time every night, massively impactful.
Really important.
Like
Yep.
super important
Yeah.
in terms of your body recognizing it, your subconscious telling you, and then you being able to dictate more of a circadian rhythm and getting more appropriate data in terms of what your REM looks like.
Yeah.
And I mean, every wave of sleep is important, but specifically REM.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So it's cool.
Yeah. And
That's
we're-
living life full field, baby.
That is, man. Like, your sleep fuels you for sure.
It is fuel.
Fuel.
So
Awesome.
we got for sleep. I love that you
stuff.
brought this, and
Yeah.
again, we're gonna drop that in the show notes.
Perfect.
The link to the quiz, and then any other things.
Yeah, as always, listeners, if they have questions, they can always send it in. We'll put our our contact in the show notes as well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we always answer those. So.
Oh yeah, Blake, you got a question from the audience?
I think the question that we had was answered is if I get one chronotype, but I don't necessarily associate myself with that, how do I change into a chronotype that I would prefer to be that works better for my lifestyle?
Yeah, that's important. I mean, that's all again about that setting that baseline, and then creating the structure that potentially creates a little bit of discourse from the pattern at which it's all about systems. Yeah. That's what I've learned in business and in everything else is like, if you don't have a system that's correlated to like where you want to go, then you're likely not going to get there. It's going to take a lot longer. So like, what is the system that's associated to how you're going to get to that chronotype? Like if you want it, like I think you actually can get it, but like then you got to create the structure and the systems throughout the cadence of that day, that then allow your body to understand it. Because I think over time, you're able to dictate that, right? You're able to maneuver it just a little bit.
I agree.
To eventually get into that lane. So, but I think it's good to start with like the box, right? Yeah. And that's the same thing with even the characteristics of who your interpersonal skills and all that, right? They can be dictated over time if you have an understanding of where you're at. And then kind of box yourself, but be like, hey, I want to get here. Yeah. So then how do I get, the proper guidance? Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's a mentor, maybe whatever. And that's definitely part of the Optimizers program is to facilitate and maneuver that.
Yeah. And I think it's about like also finding where you feel like you're fighting yourself. Mm-hmm. Like for me, it was like, man, I was dragging in the morning workouts. Felt like I wasn't getting that much result because I was tired or I wasn't putting everything into it, and I was like, all right, something could change here. Yeah. So then I took my schedule, my things that I couldn't skimp on, which is like the hours I have to be at treating patients. Yeah. How do I work around that then? So like everyone has responsibilities. I think this is how do you blend your responsibilities that you got to do with how your body optimally like wants to be. Yeah. And then I mean if you're getting sick from it or developing like a disease because you're not sleeping and that kind of stuff, maybe your job has to change, right? That sounds extreme, but like, what's your health worth? Too,
what's your health worth?
You're gonna sacrifice your health for a career or money, like, that's I can't make that choice for somebody, but that's up to them. Yeah.
And that just goes back to something that like I've said to you a couple times, but like we work for money, we work for these things. So if that's on the line, right? The rich man asks for many things. The sick man asks for one. Yeah. And so if it's becoming so inflammatory to your body, because stress produces inflammation, right? Alfie talks about this all the time. Stress produces that level of inflammation. Like over time, that level of chronic inflammation is going to create an unhealthy you.
Dis-ease, right?
Disease.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I got to make a change.
Yeah.
So like, what are you doing to make a change right now to create and focus as health as the primary focus in your life, right? To reduce inflammation and then to live a more optimized lifestyle, right? Awesome. Within your work set, within your family, within everything. Like, how are things becoming more predictable? And that is 100% focusing on your health.
I love that. That was a good question too.
Yeah, great question. All right, let's. We're going to be jumping into mind.
That's a wrap.
I love that.
Yes.
That's a wrap for this one,
fun,
baby.
Bro.
Live full field.